Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14, Week 5. Today we're taking a look at Ganker x Ganker taking on G-Raff's Laboratory, and we got a couple of real yokels here with us today. First off, we have Katie.
Hello.
And we also have Crystal Miku with us. Some of you might remember him from Season 13.
Indeed, 'tis I.
What's going on, Crystal Miku?
It's going great, actually.
Radiant team pick.
Looking forward to some top-class Dota here.
Looking forward to some immediate bans on Silencer and Enigma.
I'm also glad you didn't introduce me as Randy for the first time ever.
Looking forward to one of these first big Marsus. Gonna have we have a stand-in here on Ganker x Ganker. So
Is
that's
one of Ray
Jumpman.
Bebe's crew?
Yeah, that's Jumpman.
10 seconds.
Former
remaining.
Season 13 winner, Jumpman.
5 seconds remaining.
Season 13, of course. Also the season that you two played together on that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Great Mars player here, Crystal Miku.
Yeah, he did really great on that. You know what's weird? How neither of you have a British accent.
Oh yeah, that is quite weird.
Incredibly weird. Seeing as how we're both very British.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, Vex told me himself.
Dire team.
By the way, no Tiny. No Tiny.
You know what else is weird and Ani?
What's that?
The fact that G-Raff's Laboratory banned at Nature's Prophet?
Well, that's because Looter is like a super duper Nature's Prophet man.
Oh, I did not know
10
that.
seconds.
Yeah, that's
remaining.
the thing.
Radiant
That-
But
Something
be up
every
against
day.
Hell.
That's sort of the gimmick. Okay, Dazzle and Kentaro coming out here, just starting off with a couple of pretty reliable heroes.
Radiant team.
Could get an
back.
Axe up here. No, I'm gonna get a Beastmaster up here actually instead.
It's the Axe Master.
Yeah, he has some axes, so it's close. He throws whirling axes, so you know. Well, not whirling axes. He throws throwing axes. Troll has whirling axes.
Although instead of him being an Axe Master, he just sort of became the
10
new drummer
seconds
for
remaining.
Queen.
Yeah, that's true.
Dire team. Back.
Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's really all that many heroes in the game who counter either of these two. Like, you've got, like, the super duper counter to Centaur in the form of Lifestealer, but I don't know how many people are really willing to pick that hero right now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a grief.
Although, Arteezy did pick it in the major.
There you
Not
go.
a major, TI.
So,
Did he
apparently
win?
he's not a grief.
A major. No, but he went 10-1 and 7, so
10 seconds remaining.
it was not his fault.
Maybe they would have won if they had a
5
real carry.
seconds remaining.
Ember Spirit and Death Prophet both knocked out there.
Dire team back.
Very
Naga
strong
by
mid laner.
Naga Siren. Naga Siren's a weird ban for LD12 because not many people can play that hero effectively. I know a certain pause one who's been learning the ropes on that hero, but you know, it
That's a
seems
knee
like
slapper right there. There's a pause one who's been learning that hero.
yeah.
Radiant team back.
You should not get nominated for the Funny Award this season.
Indeed.
Huskar.
G-Raff's Lab just banning out a load of Kid Dynamite heroes. At this point, getting rid of the
10
Ember, getting rid of the
seconds
Huskar.
remaining.
Banding out the cheese Huskar.
Yeah,
5
the Cheese
seconds
Huskar. Is that
remaining.
like the Cheese Bat Rider?
Yeah. Kid Dynamite's known to be very good at those heroes.
Oh my god, stop. No bans targeted towards Blue Jay so far, which is weird.
Yeah, you know, even though Kid Dynamite's kind of a cheesy player, I think not banning out any Blue Jay heroes might be a bit of a Swiss strategy, which is to say, full of holes.
Dire team back.
No comment. Bristleback ban, even though
Bristleback.
the
man.
pause 3 is already showing. What's that about?
Might be a 1 bristleback. This is a team that doesn't really
10
do the
seconds
traditional
remaining.
pause 1 at all, so a pause 1 bristleback is an unheard of
5
for
seconds
G-Raff Lab.
remaining.
Though I mean it kind
What
of should
is
be. I
this?
feel
Last
yeah.
patch?
I feel like bristleback is not really good enough right now to do that, so I don't know if that was really that merited, though it might genuinely be like they think it could be like a 2 or even 1
Dire
centaur.
team pick.
Clinks.
No clinks.
Although against both of those heroes, Bristleback is kind of good because neither Marcy or Beastmaster really have a way to A, damage Bristleback, B, get away from him.
Well, I
without-
mean, Marcy
10
can just
seconds
throw
remaining.
Bristleback into a position where he's showing his face to everybody for a minute. And
5 seconds
Beastmaster can just scream at him so everybody can hit his face.
True.
Neither of those things are great. Neither of
Both-
those heroes
Both
personally.
of those things
remaining.
are
Team
countered.
pick.
Both of those heroes, both
Pangolier.
of those things are countered by Lotus Orb, which is a very, very common bristle item.
Well, both of those things are made worse by Lotus Orb, you know. Beastmaster, I'm sure, is not going to be too afraid to just shout at
10
himself.
seconds remaining.
Mangolier, by the
True,
way.
but if he's in the
5
middle of his
seconds
team though, he
remaining.
does it. It'll
I-
be kind of funny.
I gotta question the Pangolier against Beastmaster pick, I gotta say. I do not like that one.
Radiant team pick.
Ooh, a
That
Nani
man
hero.
does not care about your role.
Ben coming out here, which is another hero Pangolier doesn't really want to see, nor the Centaur Warrunner, really, for that matter.
10 seconds.
Or even
remaining.
really
That's hard to-
Dazzle.
Yeah, if
5
that
seconds remaining.
Abaddon is laning against Dazzle, that Dazzle's really not going to enjoy his time.
Dire
He's
team
gonna try to
pick.
go and poke people with his Q, and then it's just immediately getting purged off.
I'm going to guess it's probably 2 pause 5s though, because that's probably Code Line Abaddon, probably pause 5 Dazzle, and Shadow Fiend for Kid Dynamite.
10 seconds remaining.
Ironically, that's something that the Pangolier, I would say, is kind of good against.
5 seconds.
I'm not sure I like
remaining.
that matchup that much for Shadow Fiend. But then on the other hand, the Pangolier is so answered by the Beastmaster, it's just like, do you care? Probably not.
And the Abaddon's also able to get rid of Pango stuns.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, he's
Allowing
able
you
to
to-
get it if
allowing
Abaddon
you to
himself
move
is not
out of
just
the way.
being chain donked by a Pangolier anyway.
This is true. Looking for some skillful Pango plays here at a great G-Raff laboratory to be able to control these fights. Speak a little louder if you want.
That would be perfect. All at the, just to sacrifice your throat. By the way, Crystal Maker here,
Yep.
he's shown up today with Ligma, so his throat's a bit sore.
It's terrible.
Radiant team ban.
Zeus.
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 Zeus mid against SF.
Yeah, it is gonna be. I thought it was gonna be the Pango mid, honestly, but not so much. And you know, I do think Pango. I think that's probably not a bad idea to not lane Pango against
I
it. Like,
think-
10 seconds remaining.
Pango against Shadow Fiend is a good
5
matchup for
seconds
Pangolier
remaining.
if they don't start out together.
I think SF versus Zeus is just a trading farm lane unless one of them gets a little too aggressive.
Dire team
Could have
ban.
some interesting rotations
Yeah.
with G-Raff Lab. I can't see any way that G-Raff Lab. Like, I assume this is 5-3-1-2 at this point. It could be like a
10
3
seconds
Pangolier and a
remaining.
support Centaur Warrunner, but why would you ever do that in a million
5
years? It's
seconds
likely a
remaining.
support pick last for G-Raff
Radiant
Lab.
team ban.
Which means they got last overall
This
pick.
could
and it's gonna
actually-
support.
Dire team ban.
This could be 4 Zeus actually.
Yeah, it could be.
The Centaur Zeus lane. Going for the slow into the double stun, quote unquote stun. Seeing as how Zeus's stun lasts 4 seconds?
Yeah, it's a little mini stun. Yeah, it could be a 4 Zeus.
0.25.
10 seconds remaining.
Seems like kind of an odd
5
time to pick a
seconds
4
remaining.
Zeus, but if it is a 4 Zeus, you know, you can't knock that.
Maybe
completely
try.
out.
Radiant team pick.
Ganker X Ganker appears to be predicting this is a support Zeus. G-Raff Slab is predicting that this is not a Pozlon Shadow Fiend because it's not a year and a half ago anymore.
What am I saying? It's 5 centaurs, 1 dazzle. See it happen.
Yeah. There you go.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Weaver.
Got a Weaver here. Weaver's an interesting pick.
That's not a hero I've really seen Blue Jay play.
Again, it's
Although
like
it is still being picked pretty regularly. Or
10 seconds remaining.
again, like, I don't really like the Weaver into the Pangolier. I feel
5
like the
seconds
disarm
remaining.
sucks, and the potential of getting chain stun so you can't ult out sucks. But again, he's so answered by the Beastmaster that it's like, I don't know if I care anyway. Like, this is gonna be a really sad Pangolier game. Like, this is so great for him in theory.
Anti-mage.
You may
Anti-mage,
now
okay.
select your heroes.
So it is support Zeus.
That's an interesting one.
don't know how much I like anti-mage here.
Could be alright against the Shadow Fiend. I think that's generally going to favor Anti-Mage. Especially if Shadow Fiend is not going like the year ago Shadow Fiend build. It's gonna be okay. It's okay, what the hell's going on? I think they're gonna change up their positions again, maybe? I mean, either that or we gotta pause 4 Pangolier and Big Boy LaCroix has moved back to pause 3.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's done that a couple of times this season, basically just to play Centaur.
Is Copless usually on 1?
He was for this series. He was, like... The G-Raff Laboratory lineup shifted again since this recording, well not since this recording, since this game happened. But for week 4 and 5, Copless was playing Pozlon. For this iteration, he was, yeah.
Repeller.
He's not dead yet. I guess that's how you deal with the Pangolier being countered to hell. Just answered so badly. You just put him on support. That's the way you do it.
Abaddon. What do you think of Lines of Abaddon? Have you ever seen Lines of Abaddon?
Oh, plenty of times. He's played it a lot this season. The biggest thing I have to say is that I know it's the support Baden du jour build, and people don't like to do it, but I'm not a fan of how he literally doesn't even get a single point of Curse of Avernus in lane usually. He usually just goes all in on Photic and Mist Coil. Even in lanes...
you never know. You never know when you're gonna just get a chance to get free hits on people, and that's like pretty value in lane.
Even in lanes where he's just right-clicking people a lot, and even in lanes where he's really not using either the Photic or the Mist Coil much, right? Because it's gonna happen on a lot of your lanes. You know, sometimes it really just is gonna be you're not gonna be taking very consistent damage here. Even in those cases, it feels like you just never really see it. And even against lanes where it's like a lane against Faceless Void, if you're a Baden playing against Faceless Void, especially if you're a support Baden, then you have one opportunity for your lane to get a kill, and that's with the silence on Curse of Avernus. Now, Void is probably not going to let the Curse of Avernus silence happen to him, but it does not matter. Void has to just constantly get out of there when he's like 2 or 3 hits in to avoid that happening to him. Which means even if you don't get the kill, I mean, it's still a pretty big objective here.
Howler in an interesting position.
You have
Who
decided
did you say the pause
What
one
did,
was there?
what did
Anna?
Marcy take?
The pause
Oh,
one
Marcy
on
didn't take anything?
the pause one on both teams. They're Blue Jay for Ganker X Ganker Copeless on G-Raff's lab.
I believe you were saying void there.
Well, what I was saying was, I was talking about Abaddon, and I was saying even in a lane against Faceless Void, which we've seen before, that line has had, like, the Curse of Avernus is like a really crucial skill to have, because it's like the only way that an Abaddon, especially as a support, creates an opportunity to kill. And he just doesn't take it, like, ever. And that's the biggest issue I have. Because Katie was asking how I liked the code line Abaddon. This is actually another good example of that. Like, all Abaddon needs to do, he does not need to go into it. Just get like a casual value point of Curse of Avernus, and Anti-Mage is going to, you know, a brick is going to hit the floor every time he takes a couple of hits, you know? And, you know, you're occasionally just going to be able to shut Dazzle up, which is also good. But that's not going to be happening this lane. Anyway, with that being said, today we're going to be doing the roll call. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, Katie, you do the GXG roll call.
Oh, okay, on pause 1 we have Blue Jay on the Weaver, and I could not be more thrilled, as you could tell by my voice. Pause 2. Alright, I'll try to hype up a bit. Pause 2.
We got the funny combat music, hold up.
Oh.
Howler going for a high five. Oh man, Blue Jay's just getting beat up by like a billion creeps. Oh, he's gonna go down.
No, Blue Jay!
Just right click to death there by...
That was weird pull shenanigans.
Yeah. It's a good scenario. Non-hero. 356 damage.
Yeah, weird pull shenanigans. He got caught in the wrong place.
This is good there. I think Heller did get a little bit of a bait going on there. Anyway, okay, who's the pause 2?
Pause 2, we got the legendary Kid Dynamite on Shadow Fiend. Pause 3 is Looter on the Beastmaster.
You know what Looter's last name is?
No.
His last name is Shooter.
Oh. Okay. We got code line on the shut up, dude.
Code line on who? Code line on who?
Abaddon, and Nani's favorite hero on the pause 4.
And who's the pause
and
5?
We got, I have no clue who this
That's
is.
Jumpman.
Oh yeah, Jumpman, I forgot. Jumpman, the champion from season 13, on the pause 5 Marcy.
Both of them getting just a little chased out of lane here by Big Boy. Centaur Warrunner looking... Nope. Centaur Warrunner is probably not going to get a kill here unless Blue Jay is very, very dumb. So I'm going to look away from this lane, and if he dies, it's his own fault. Alright, Zeb, how about you give us the G-Raff lab lineup? Crystal Miku?
Crystal Miku internet moment. Which is weird considering me and Crystal Miku are both on the same connection.
Yeah. At least that's what Vex told me. Well in that case, alright, for G-Raff's lab, currently diving into a lot of pain. Pause 1, you've got Copeless, old Copeless on the Anti-Mage. Pause 2, captain of the team, namesake, we got G-Raff himself, formerly known as the Beetus, artist formerly known as the Beetus, on that Zeus, or as some people call him, Zwace. Pause 3, you've got Big Boy LaCroix, usually is supporting on this lineup now. Today he is Centaur Warrunner on pause 3. Pause 4, you've got the dearly departed Howler, who since this game died in a farming accident. And pause 5, you've got this guy, Whimsical Dragon.
Radiant's courier.
I believe standing in for Obi. I believe this guy is going to replace Big Boy LaCroix full time for the rest of this season. Hey, you remember what I said about if Blue Jay dies, it's his own fault? Let's check it out.
You mean Howler? You mean he's gonna replace Howler?
No, there's two different replacements, because Big Boy LaCroix is also... I mean, if G-Raff's lab brackets, then it's not going to be full-time. Big Boy will come back, but he's going to be out weeks 6 and 7. So we will be seeing Whimsical Island in that time.
Oh, what's up with Big Boy LaCroix?
He's retiring to his vacation house, his summer home in Tahiti. He's also just
Damn.
gonna get a casual kill on Marcy, then die to the tower. Which is ironically actually probably the best thing that could have happened to him in that particular moment, considering, you know, the alternative was die to Weaver. So he just
This
got
lane, I feel like this lane should have been really smooth for the Blue Jay side in the first few minutes, but the like insane pulls by Howler, he's actually doing really good pulse 4 work in this lane so far.
He's doing some good pulls, and on top of that, he's also, I think, doing a good job being just a distracting target for the Weaver here. I think Blue Jay really just needs to change strategy, first and foremost.
Yeah, the Weaver's not having a good time at doing Weaver things.
Wonder if we're ever gonna get Crystal Miku back. Is he still in the call?
He is in the call.
That's good.
I'm still here. It's just
Oh, there we go. Welcome back,
highly
Crystal Miku.
inconsistent.
Looter getting really hammered over here.
No mana in this Radiant sideline.
Yep, not at all. There's one thing about it, Batten, that I will also say, especially if you don't get a level in Curse of Avernus. Really sucks to lane against Anti-Mage. Just being mana broken all the time is really, really nasty, and if you don't have the ability to like right-click at all, which you're not going to as a support, it's not really a great matchup.
I feel like I agree with what you were saying, where he should have taken a point in his passive on Abaddon, especially combined with the Boar Slow. If Anti-Mage ever doesn't have Blink active, he's going to take a lot of damage.
Right. And again, like I said, it's just like a, you know, a routing mechanic. It's like, you know, Anti-Mage takes a couple of hits of Curse of Avernus, and then he just has to blink out or risk death. You know, you could just shut Dazzle up. But instead, these two are just
Also,
kind of getting hammered.
I feel like there aren't that many spells cast in this lane, so it doesn't quite need the full wand. Something like a Ring of Basilius might have helped their lane out a little better.
Yeah. I mean, he got the full wand because he likes to go for Holy Locket, so.
I understand that, but for this point in time, you could just be sitting here with a stick and 2 branches.
Well, what he wants to
You
do
don't
is
need to
just sit
actually
here.
complete it, because now you have 3 empty inventory slots.
Well, what he actually just wants to do is he just wants to get that first item every game. So. So the code line special for you.
The healing
Radiant's
Abaddon.
middle tower
Yep,
is under
all
attack.
about that in Mystic Oil. There's just like been some funny business going on.
No, it's just
Okay.
unfair.
Howler's gonna take the DD. No, he actually, like,
No.
Zeus gave him
Okay,
the bottle.
he bottled it.
I assume because DD on Zeus is actually useless. Zeus does have ult now. This has been an odd mid lane. For a while, Shadow Fiend was just absolutely stomping this down, but it seems like G-Raff had a bunch of weird like pseudo rotations going on from the support line, which haven't gotten any kills, but kind of forced them
Luther's in a
back.
really bad position, but the big orb, what the fuck is that called?
That would be the
Protects
Aphotic
him.
Shield.
Yeah, that one.
The big orb.
The big
That's what they
orb.
call it.
Yeah, the big orb. Here for a Zeus gank.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Well,
Weaver
something
is
like a
level
gank
6
anyway.
though.
Not only is Weaver level 6,
And
it's
Marcy's
also
playing
got
super safe.
it's also got shown on this wave. So. Oh, Dan's randomly just gonna get killed by the Zeus ult. Let's see what happens
Radiant's
here.
bottom tower is under attack.
He's gonna be level 5 then die. That was probably not necessary.
Imagine being level 5 Lamau. Really bad positioning here. And he's
Dire's
not
middle tower is under
taking
attack.
anything for it.
Yep.
Beastmaster
Welcome to the new Anti-Mage. Yeah, Beastmaster also started out with a Helm of Iron Will. It's going to do a decent amount to deal with some of the armor-breaking shenanigans that Dazzle has,
Radiant's
and
bottom
help
tower
him
is
regen
under
some of his
attack.
health.
Yeah, even when Dazzle's Q doesn't get taken off by the shield immediately, it still does like nothing. At this point, is it level 1?
No, it's level 3.
Wow, that's surprising.
There he just gets
Middle
immediately
tower is under
knocked
attack.
off by the shield. But it's definitely, like, this is an offlane that's having a really big toll on these two. Like, the Centaur ult. He's trying to get away at bot. Just not
Beastmaster will never have mana again.
Yeah. Beastmaster won't Abaddon basically has one aphotic shield separating him from an empty pool himself. He was just walking away from this, even though if he just stayed around and just kept like casting W, he was probably gonna just
Dire's
accidentally
middle
kill
tower
Marcy.
is under attack.
It's kind of funny. Is it time for the Pangolier to just kind of randomly die? Sure is. It's kind of just sticks around just a little too long while Big Boy is not here. Without the Centaur present to eat some shots.
Dire's
Boy,
bottom
also
tower
doing
is under
the
attack.
funny 2 ring of protection gimmick.
Let's see the damage on mid tower while the Zeus has been away.
Basically nothing on either side because Shadow Fiends has been doing big camps. Let's take a look at the net worth chart. That's really the interesting thing, and really the most interesting thing here is I probably would not have expected this looking at the last hit chart, but that was actually Centaur Warrunner in first place for net worth. We got a Pangolier ult here. Ah, that's sad. Marcy just got simultaneously shot 2 different ways at the same time. We actually have a different team fight going on right now at
Dire's
top,
middle tower
which we're
is
also going to take a look at here. See the whole process of this. Wonder if it was coincidence that that Zeus ult happened. Yeah, but Abaddon's just sitting there at literally no health, basically. How did the
Dire's middle
how
tower
the
is
anti-mage
under
ult not
attack.
just nuke Abaddon?
The cost of magic.
I guess he doesn't really have that much
Dire's structures
max
are
mana right
fortified.
now. Well, it's the cost of magic. What do you guys think?
Radiant structures are fortified.
I think
Dire's middle
Zeus
tower is under attack.
is a good hero. Why is Zeus not meta right now?
Because he's old.
Damn.
Crystal Miku, what do you
Radiant's
think?
bottom tower is fortified.
What do I think?
Yeah.
What? Why Zeus
Dire's
isn't picked
middle
right
tower
now?
has
Yeah.
been denied.
Well, the meta right now is blank daggers. And everybody wants to have like a blank dagger at some point throughout the game. So it becomes really hard for Zeus to survive in the late game when you've got like 3 or 4 people just blinking on you.
Just get everyone on your team to build 4 staves. Easy. And just stand in a line to be carted out. And Pangolier just gonna get chased down again by this Weaver Marcy combo. The Weaver Marcy combo down here has been able to turn around to a good degree and start getting some offense in, though notably Weaver's still at the very bottom of the net worth chart. Only surpassed.
No, that would be Beastmaster. Yeah. Anti-Mage's getting lower than he usually should be, but I guess he just used his blink in an awkward way.
Dazzle, you're playing with fire here. Okay, Zeus is here with the save.
In what sense? My internet or my voice?
Both.
Hold on, kids. We're gonna do something fun. Everybody watch this this little encounter here at top. That's a siege on Dire top T1 here. Actually, no. Nah, that's what's happening here. Let's watch this siege at top T1.
Dire's top tower
While I do
is
some
under
extreme
attack.
measures.
ESS from the top.
Radiant's
Had a bit of
middle
a
tower is under attack.
bit of a nasty fight here behind the top T1. All who goes down for it is supports. I have now taken the nuclear option and just turned Katie down and turned Discord up, because even at 200%, Crystal Miku is still very hard to hear. So hopefully everybody at home should be able to hear him now.
Yay.
Crystal Miku, say
Here's
something.
hoping.
Yeah, there you go. You're definitely audible now.
I'm a little surprised that the G-Raff's laboratory decided to try to defend that top tower using only 2 supports in the mid laner when they saw that the DDSF was walking top.
They saw everybody was there. I mean, even if the DDSF was not involved, even if the DD wasn't involved, that was still kind of a hard bargain to try and def. I mean, Pango's a decent defender, but if they are able to just go back there for him, they got the Beastmaster's shout. You know, they got a lot of chase power. It's not like the ball is going to scare him much. And, speaking of Beastmaster ults and Pangolier, here's a fantastic one for you. Pangolier hits ult, Beastmaster hits ult, the Beastmaster ult wins.
Radiant's middle
With 2
tower
pause
in the end,
ones.
the Marcy ult was the one that won that.
True.
Coming in with the damage.
The 2 pause ones here just staring at each other. Centaur Warrunner hitting R to get the hell out of town.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Radiant supports come in to try and keep the pressure on, but really just have to turn around quite quickly. Centaur Warrunner blinks in to steal the Invisor in there. Almost actually dies for it, but does ultimately get out.
Hey, he still had a hood pop if he needed it.
Howler's just gonna randomly die again. Okay. This is not really.
Dire's middle tower
Zeus getting
Great.
slowed by the boars.
Howler, don't walk into that part of your jungle again, please.
Dire's bottom tower
Learn from the first 2
Uh,
times.
Beetus might be going down here.
Yep.
Zeus is down.
Just,
SF coming in.
has fallen.
just a conga line here.
Anti-Mage also dying here. Not entirely sure what he was doing in this area, but it did not lead to him accomplishing anything.
Just a conga line of death here near the mouth of the jungle. I really just like. It's one thing if the pause 4 just dies over and over here, right? It's one thing if that happens. You know, every time we see a Bean 10 game, we see that happen to Meph, and Bean 10's still doing well this season. But like, it's not just the pause 4 feeding. They just conga lined everybody just to try and bail out an already dead Pangolier. That is the dictionary definition of not worth it. Like, G-Raff's lab in general needs to not do that again. So this is a more
Centaur stomp.
like a
Oh,
more,
Yeah, good stuff there.
Although
Never
they
mind.
ran out of stuns to stop the SF ultimate. And
Yep.
with Marcy in the area, SF has half a Satanic.
Oh, Marcy's no longer in the area.
And
SF is now chain
they
stunned.
decided to try to continue fighting afterwards, which ended up with 3 heroes going down.
Beastmaster off to the side didn't try to connect quite quick enough.
We made no
Well,
attempt
I
at
think-
all, but then neither did Anti-Mage, who he's currently fighting and actually winning quite handily against. Though, at the last second...
Oh, that happens.
Chain and stuff.
Alright, well that's not great for Ganker X Ganker.
That is definitely not great.
After decisively proving that in a fair fight, GXG wins quite handily, they decide to take a very unfair fight for themselves, basically.
Yeah.
A string of them,
And it
really.
did not end up going well for them. Twice in a row. Including the Weaver getting picked off.
Now, the good news is, at the very least, Shadow Fiend is still at the top of the net worth charts. That probably means more than really anything else going on right now. Especially in comparison to Anti-Mage, who he's got nearly 2 grand on. Anti-Mage, Not really.
True, but Anti-Mage has his Battle Fury now, so we'll start to outfarm everybody else on the map.
Well, not if he's dying to jungle creeps.
Not if he's dying to jungle creeps, but that what his Dazzle's for.
Oh, he's gonna get stunned. If the other ogre actually chose to stun him there, he'd die.
Probably.
That would have been
Dazzle's in
funny.
the area with Grave and Heal.
Man, imagine
The
having to
ogres.
shell grave a jungle creep.
I don't think the ogres ever chain their stuns, do they?
They
usually don't.
don't. Not properly.
But it would be funny.
Weaver managing to... Weaver and Beastmaster both managing to catch up spectacularly. Although Weaver's still being in 5th position, Anti-Mage has dropped from, what was it, 4th to 6th among the cores.
Yep, Anti-Mage is
Weaver.
dead last, yeah.
Weaver going for that Diffusal Blade instead of the more common farming Maelstrom.
Yeah, wants to
And then
just get out fighting as soon as possible. Well, this is sad. Beastmaster even has an Ancient here, so Howler's gonna lose his whole mana bar.
his whole health bar. too.
Yeah, his whole health bar, that's what I
This
meant.
Ancient Black Dragon doing a lot of damage here.
Dazzle starts his TP too late.
In the case of Medusa, it's both at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
I spent a lot of that fight standing directly on top of that Ancient Black Dragon's Fire Breath, which does about
Dire's
10-20 damage a second. It's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, it does 85 damage per
85.
second.
Consider me
10
correct.
damage per second, yeah.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Casual. Actually, that's burn interval is 0.5 seconds. So
I don't think the burn
That does a lot
burn
of
interval is actually relevant to this. I don't think they would call that DPS
No,
if
it's
it wasn't
just
actually
letting-
DPS. Just ticks,
it's
basically.
just letting you know how often it ticks. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really actually doing a lot less than 85 because it's not favorable with how the calculation works. Big Boy LaCroix with a really big stomp there, but unfortunately he's just in the middle of hell,
Saved by
and
Dazzle,
nobody
but
on his team can do anything.
They're just
it was
fighting
like
right
too
into this
early, the
Beastmaster.
Dazzle.
with they're just fighting into this Beastmaster Marcy right now. This Ancient Black Dragon is just far too powerful at the moment.
Yeah, basically, if you think about it like this, right? Beastmaster has Inner Beast, 40 additional attack speed. Ancient Black Dragon has a Dragonhide aura that gives him, that gives people around him bonus armor.
Dire's middle
Marcy has Sidekick. Being around one of GXG's cores with these supports next to them, it's like they have like 1,000 more net worth than they actually do. It's like they have another 2 items basically, just from them being around. Like, trying to take these fights is just getting really almost kind of suicidal for G-Raff's lab. They need to adopt a very different strategy very, very quickly, I think.
And now looking at the net worth chart, you've got all 3 of G&G's cores on top. Their G-Raff's cores have started falling off. Oh, Marcy
again.
being kept alive here by their band Abaddon.
And again, it's like I said, the Pangolier is just so answered. All he can do is just look out and die. Beastmaster picking up the Hood of Defiance. It's going to inert quite a lot of Zeus's damage. As if they, as if things needed to get any worse for Zeus.
Picked up a full pipe back.
Radiant's middle
Yep.
tower.
He just finished upgrading it to the full pipe actually, yeah.
Radiant's courier.
Yeah, he started with a cloak and he just built the entire thing, yeah.
Structures are fortified.
I feel like this Pango needs to wait until
Radiant's
Beastmaster's
middle tower
ult is
has been
down.
denied.
Although, who else do you really need to use it on at this
Yeah,
point?
nobody. It's like if he waits until Beastmaster ult is down, he won't ever do it, basically. So
'Cause if Anti-Mage decides to go in and fight, he's just gonna get shredded between the Weaver and the SF and the Beastmaster's physical damage. Although they do have vision. They're gonna be playing on the other side of the map, going for that top tier 2 maybe.
double damage rune here at bot.
For the dazzle.
Abaddon did not actually even go for the Holy Locket this game, which means he really had no
Locket.
reason at all to go for the Magic Wand in lane.
To finish that one.
I mean, realistically, do you even need to stick in a lane like that? It's like, you know, Dazzle is going to use like 2 abilities on you, and you're going to get a passive anti-mage blink once in a while, but not
really.
enough. You're going to get like, even with the stick, you might get a full stick charge in all of lane phase, basically. Like, it's like that tier of slow.
Even then, it's only got a 900 range, so like, if you're far enough back, even if you see them cast the spell, you're not actually gonna get any charges for it.
I like it
So
ultimately.
like, if they're
it doesn't
sitting
matter
under tower
anyways.
and the dazzle is having key. Just a lesson to a certain pause 1 player that I know likes to buy sticks far too often.
Katie, yeah.
Ahoy.
Dire's top tower is under
And will
attack.
arbitrarily upgrade them into the full wand.
I love wands. Can't get enough of wands.
Me too.
They give you health and mana. So value.
Yeah, I know this is probably the most controversial opinion in the world, and I know a lot of people are gonna freak out when they hear this and all that. But I mean, honestly, if I'm in a lane where I don't think I'm gonna get a magic wand, I usually just don't even get stick.
Damn.
Yeah. I know there's some people who live and die by magic stick, but it's like for me, if I'm not gonna do that, yeah. I can find other ways to get that matter more than 2 minutes into the game, you know?
Radiant's bottom tower.
I
is
feel
under
the same. I feel like it's only like
Meta style.
2 out of my last 100 games where I've had an uncompleted magic stick. I feel like I haven't upgraded it into one.
Abaddon just immediately gets soul popped.
Radiant's bottom tower has Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower.
And once again, bad news for Pangolier, who inexplicably, even though Dazzle did actually drop the ult on him there, actually decided to get out of the ult.
Has fallen.
Rex goes down, no casualties at all for GXG, they don't even lose the Aegis. I know it's passé to call early GG, especially in this season where we must have 60-minute games every match, no matter what, but I don't know, I really kind of gotta question the decision to try and keep this going on GXG, like, especially given what's about to happen here. Goodbye, Dazzle. Goodbye, Anti-Mage. No, they're actually gonna let Anti-Mage go here.
Anti-Mage yet again using Mana Void on a full mana target.
That's what you do, right?
Target.
You create a void of mana in the enemy's pocket, and all the mana falls out. That's why it's called that.
Yeah, it's like his Q, except you ult them, and based on their max mana pool, it does damage and reduces their mana.
Yeah, it's
Totally.
it's just like OD. Marcy just got BKB. It's 28 minutes. The
SF
GXG
going
pause
for
has.
the SF going for the MKB here.
Does not want Anti-Mage going for like a butterfly or something.
I guess so, but it's a little preemptive here, seeing as how Anti-Mage has
Nothing.
actually no items. He's got a Manta style and a farming item.
Ben, you're just gonna get bullied
We
here.
were going. But this is sort of what you want your Abaddon to be doing. Want the enemy to try to waste spells by going on top of you.
Speaking
Weaver
of
jumping on the Anti-Mage in the bottom lane.
Speaking of wasting spells, you know, Definitely, if you knew you were about to ult, I think the play there was to just let the Pangolier Q just hit you and just get like half a health bar back for free.
Oh, SF's down here now as well.
Yep, anti-mage really slow. But not for long. Everyone taking great pains to avoid the stupid Zeus ult, or Zeus X thing. The Nimbus.
Is as if SF just charged his ultimate in the trees there while Weaver saw the anti-mage, they might have had enough lockdown to kill him.
Very sad.
Good job,
Very
Anti-Mage.
sad indeed.
The only the only downside to that for G-Raff's lab is that Anti-Mage has been consistently able to escape basically everything that happens to him in the game, and has also not been able to do any damage to anybody. It's another classic situation. I feel like this happens for G-Raff's lab a lot. Go on.
I feel like Anti-Mage does have a fair few deaths this game, like 4 or 5.
He only has 3. Which, I mean, considering
Only
how
3.
much of a stomp this game is, that's not too bad for like an anti-mage at this point.
It's not too bad.
I think the problem is, though, like I said, anti-mage can escape from a lot of situations. We've seen a lot of these little encounters where anti-mage gets out, and it takes like an hour and a half for them to actually like finish chasing him around, right? The only downside is he does no damage to anybody, so, you know, he's just doing his funny Houdini act for no gain. What
That
is he
an
doing?
Anti-Mage and current
That's
year
the
moment.
drums of Slon. Slom.
I don't think I've actually seen that skill in use before. I always like it when Shadow Fiend winds up for ult and then just cancels it. It's very dramatic animation if it doesn't go off. Speaking of Shadow Fiend, he's gonna actually die here.
For dramatic sound, too.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, with how far ahead GXG is, they should just be spending their time, instead of trying to chase down this anti-mage, just pushing down all of the enemy team's racks, because they can't fight 4v5 right now.
Push
And,
down
The
racks.
this
Anti-Mage
anti-mage-
will cut the waves, though. Have to be careful.
And
with
it
that. That's
doesn't
something they're trying to avoid.
really matter, because anti-mage doesn't actually do anything right now. It
Like, you know,
should
you
just
can-
be
If he's
pushing
cutting
down
the wave,
all
you
of
just
these
move to where.
towers.
If he's cutting the wave, you just move to where he's not cutting. Like, you don't. This is not a situation for GXG, I think, where they're going to be having to worry about where, like, a specific lane. It's like they can just push creeps up mid and then go eat the bot towers. Well, not bot, because that T2 so they can just pick creeps up mid and then eat top T2 or top T3
Yeah,
rather.
so anti-mage's cutting the waves. Not really the biggest of deals in this game. Although they should be making sure to catch these waves so that they actually have waves to push tier 2 with.
Yeah, nobody is, everybody is still just hanging out bot waiting for the wave that anti-mage cut to get here. So if you do want to make anti-mage cutting the wave matter, this is a great way to do it.
Yep.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Just a very awkward situation here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Weaver got the wave and then bring
Radiant's
it
top
back.
tower has fallen.
Anti-mage takes out top T1 while this is happening.
And SF has decided to be there instead of assisting his team, being most of the tower damage that they currently have.
The good news is that he is going to
kills
just...
this AM.
He is going to beat the crap out of anti-mage, but the bad news is he's not going to kill him.
Yeah, and he was forced to use his BKB there.
Is he
And
gonna get screamed
his-
at?
Nope, Centaur Warrunner gonna keep the Beastmaster down there. The downside is that he does not... Okay, well, still screams at him anyway
Now
for
he's been
good measure.
yelled at.
Why?
Yep.
Why, Looter, why? That's so unnecessary. That should be a war crime.
He just wants to make a point.
Yeah.
You don't pick Pango into Beastmaster.
Yeah,
Seems
you
to be
just
the point
simply
he's
are
trying
not
to
allowed
make.
to do that.
Anti-mage being jumped on.
Anti-mage,
Mana
Mana
burn.
Void's a full mana target again.
No, I think he might avoided the Marcy, but the Marcy has like a max capacity of like 300 mana at this point in the game.
800
so
mana.
that's still not very much.
Dire's bottom barracks.
And again, it should really be
Against a
telling
team
how
of heroes that have-
it should really be telling about how winnable this game is for G-Raff Lab. That Anti-Mage, cut the wave. Even though they didn't really need to respect that, GXG still did. Acted like they just desperately needed that bot tower gone. It's an important objective for winning the game, right? So they acted like they're game dependent on getting the bot lane down, and even despite all that, they just still couldn't defend the bot T3 or the Rax there. So, literally the best possible situation for G-Raff Lad to be in. Anti-Mage gets like 2 or 3 minutes to farm with literally nothing bad happening to him except Shadow Fiend looks at him funny and does like half his health, which for Anti-Mage means literally nothing. And even though
here deciding to go into the butterfly even after he's seen this MKB on.
Well, I mean, you probably didn't look at the Shadow Fiend's inventory when he decided to queue that up.
He's been clicked by the SF. He should have heard the on-hit effect of thunk, 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 thunk.
Maybe he's
It
listening
doesn't
to
usually come with SF's attacks.
maybe he's listening to some Scottish folk music.
Maybe he is, but I feel like a basher would go a long way in securing their team a victory here.
Well, securing any reasonable path to victory here, which I don't know. It's looking very, 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 very.
SF does have a beacon.
It's been looking kind of unwinnable for G-Raff Lab for like 15 minutes now.
Roshan has fallen.
Yeah, the gold lead has been steadily going up for or for GXG here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Currently at 18k, was 6k 10 minutes ago.
Amazing what you find laying around. Weaver has an inventory full of crap. Sell some of this, please.
There's a certain streamer out there named Gork who does this sort of thing very often, and he'll wind up with like iron branches in his inventory like 43 minutes into the game, and just filling up his backpack space.
Dire's top tower has
Somebody I know had an idea for like an evil courier upgrade, and what you would do is that you would sit
great
up.
BKB by KB.
Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I don't know if Looter
Marcy
intended to
going in
ult the Dazzle,
back.
but he did.
Radiant's
But he did.
And it was probably better than ulting the Centaur, which I assume he meant to do. In the end.
Although Dazzle
Everybody
had
just
already
dies.
used radiance, so.
Anti-Mage attempts to
Gonna
come
pop
in and
the
do
SF
anything
ultimate.
about this, but just can't do it. G-Raff Lab is so desperate for me to not
Feel
just have
like
short
instead
games.
of being scared.
ancient is under attack.
Oh. We should just be hitting base here. Okay.
I think they're gonna hit base.
Weaver was hitting base, so was Beastmaster, that was enough.
Yep. I mean, what can I say? This is just doctrinal collapse for G-Raff Lab. I mean, everything that could go wrong for them did. You have people playing heroes that they're not very accustomed to. I see that little funny 3 by Anti-Mage's name. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of heroes that I have on record that I played well before they added to this system. They added this system into the game. So I would have a deceptively low badge on them. It felt like a rank 3 Anti-Mage. It felt like a, rank 4 Pangolier. I mean...
Did not feel all that great coming out of the G-Raff laboratory. I don't know if they're playing uncomfortable heroes or...
They're playing
Whether they
uncomfortable heroes and they're playing bad strats. It feels like they were a boat without a rudder this game. They have...
Ganker's lanes were like a disaster, and it's really impressive that they just managed to come back from that by like just having the right heroes in the right place. Like, bot lane were just outpulled constantly. Top lane had no mana for like 10 straight minutes, and
Yeah, there was no
Shadow
offlane in this
Fiend
game, yeah.
couldn't really
Shadow Fiend did good
capitalize
admit.
on
I mean,
Zeus being gone for 3
Shadow-
minutes.
Shadow
I mean,
Fiend didn't
Shadow
get
Fiend
the
did-
tower, but
Because he just kept farming He just
Yeah.
got really far ahead. Shadow Fiend was top net worth for the good first half of that game and then started sitting in the jungle, making space for his Beastmaster and Weaver to start getting some items again.
Well, I
He did
mean,
play the
Centaur
way he
Warrunner
needed
was
to.
actually at the top, but Shadow Fiend was right behind him, yeah. I mean, it really, I mean, I hate to say it, it really does come down to this. Just because G-Raff's lab makes a mistake, it does not mean that there is no value in Ganker x Ganker winning this game. They identified the weakness, they identified the issues in the G-Raff's lab strategy, they capitalized on it. And that takes skill in itself. But I will say, I do feel this is a lot less of like a Ganker x Ganker miracle. I do think there were some kinks in the gameplay. I think it's less of a GXG miracle and more of a G-Raff's lab disaster. Like, just
Also, I
the
feel like they just didn't pick a draft on G-Raff's laboratory that really allowed them to do mid-game team fighting. Like, they've got Centaur, who's just oh so easily ignored with this Vanguard Hood Blink build. And then straight into a heart. He's just screaming, I've got 4,000 health, and nothing else.
yeah.
Got the Pangolier, who's so easily countered by Roar. We've got Dazzle, who's sort of standing around, but has to play safe, because if he steps out of line, he's just getting jumped on by Weaver and the Marcy.
And you got
Marcy doing a
Pangolier.
great job of jumping on top of Dazzle.
Pangolier, who's not in this
Anti-Mage.
game at all.
Zeus doesn't really have the capabilities of dealing damage unless they have somebody to keep the enemy team off of him, which I guess Centaur does kind of count as that, but can still die. And he can't cast spells if he's running away. And Anti-Mage just couldn't fight into this heavy physical damage lineup. So,
I
he
mean,
just
I
had to
think
try to rat all game.
I definitely can see the idea, you know. If you are in the reality where Pangolier exists, like, Centaur, Pango, and Dazzle can cumulatively, like, Centaur and Pango can be up in everybody's face, just being the guys crossing their arms, looking stern, and, you know, getting stuns out. Like, you know, Centaur does have a million defensive items, but notably, he also has this shard, which, you know, if you have that heart, which gives you 45 goddamn strength, that shard is actually quite a deadly thing, especially over the course of a longer fight. It's just that that was great in theory, but in practice, it's like, you know, Weaver and Beastmaster and Shadow Fiend and Marcy and Abaddon. All five of these people are just like, it's about formation. It all gets back to formation. It's like, Centaur Warrunner came out, and even in fights where he is going to get like 3 or 4 people in a stomp, he ain't going to get 5, and that's kind of what he needs to do, like the amount he needs to do. Pangolier just got evaporated, and you know, that's
Not
just it.
his Centaur's W may deal a lot of damage, but I think literally everybody on Radiant's team there has a way to regain the health that they've just lost, especially if they're standing around this Beastmaster. They can hit the Centaur like twice because he's got no armor and gain the health they lost.
Right, I mean,
Off of that.
hypothetically, it's like they can get it back, but on the other hand, it does mean that, like, the longer a fight goes, the worse it goes for GXG, but that doesn't matter when your team fights are 3 seconds, because you can just ignore so much of what they do anyway. So,
Yep.
they could
Also,
not
that
create
pipe
long
dealing
fights.
That pipe is a great pickup this game, seeing as how the only damage they have that's non-magical is the Anti-Mage, who couldn't fight.
Yep. Well, I mean, hypothetically, Pangolier could potentially do fizz damage, but he would need to have a game.
Not as a support.
But I mean, it really just kind of came down, I think, more than anything else, to just doctrinal failure. Like, just the G-Raff's laboratory lineup, it just felt like they were a boat without a rudder. It just felt like they were just kind of spinning around in a lot of this game. Just everyone trying to follow different directions, going nowhere, and the ultimate result is all the reactions came out slow, and a lot of chain feeding went on. And we'll see if that continues in the next game.